Through his command vessel's viewport, galactic hegemonic leader Vex Lord Tornik gazed upon the unavoidable victory over the emerald planet that loomed in front of him. When the humans referred to it as Earth, he snarled and called it his next trophy status report. He shifted the ceremonial medals on his headpiece, his 4 eyes blinking in unison. According to the human delegation, exoskeleton Lieutenant Praz scurried forward with her tentacles gripping a data pad. Commander, according to their arrival schedule, they will dock with our diplomatic vessel in about 3 during Earth hours. The signing ceremony preparations are finished, and our Vexler asked, lowering his voice to a rumbling in the regions of his mouth, actual preparations. The invasion fleet is still positioned behind the gas giant, which they refer to as our cloaking technology. Jupiter is operating at peak efficiency. Naturally, people don't suspect anything as Vexler's mandibles expand in. These creatures hardly crawled out of what the Vexian species considered a smile. Of their radioactive disaster a century ago, their military forces' technology is rudimentary. Absurd. Yet in just a few decades, they have claimed 12 star systems, a practice that the hegemony cannot permit to persist, as evidenced by the way X-Lor's exoskeleton cracked. The Council becomes anxious as he stretches to his maximum height and humanity grows. Too fast, too easily, today we eliminate that danger. With a flick of. He pointed to the holographic display that depicted the peace, then said, diplomacy followed by the might of our armada. Plans for the invasion by Commander Vexilor. The wording of the treaty were a masterwork of deceit, full of kind words, about collaboration and defense of one another while concealing provisions that would allow the hegemony to defend Earth. When those backdoors were activated, the grid would leave humans helpless. In opposition to the 5,000 warships that are presently concealed behind Jupiter, Ambassador Vexer responded, "Yes, Commander. I'll be waiting for your briefing in the strategy chamber is so good that the old fool thinks this peace accord is real." In order to persuade the humans, his genuine performance will be essential as Vexlor moved through the hallways of the Vrexian commander, received a harsh salute from the enormous battleship crew. Due to his ruthless subjugation of 17 sentient species, mankind would be his 18th and possibly his most contented triumph in the strategy chamber. Ambassador Krendel, an elderly Pluridian with silver skin that hung in loose folds from his body, was revealed as doors hissed open. Pluridians, in contrast to the aggressive Rexians, were renowned across the galaxy for their Commander Tornall welcomed him, demonstrating his diplomatic abilities and sincere wish for peaceful cooperation. As a momentous day draws near, this treaty will eventually be signed with a proper bow. Promote harmony between humanity and the hegemony, Vexlor said. Keeping his disdain in check on a historic day, I must admit that I was shocked by the Krendel's big silver eyes kept blinking. Despite the Council's change of attitude, they gradually began to see others with distrust for decades, but now this all-encompassing peace accord quite. An expression of diplomatic gravity was adopted by the Council in the form of exceptional Vexlor. Acknowledges the potential of humanity, and believes that it is preferable to have them as partners rather than enemies. Krendel happily nodded. I've always maintained that people have certain traits that make them valuable. It's fascinating to embrace their versatility alone. Did you know they can endure in nearly any setting, from icy wastelands to blazing deserts? Intriguingly, Vexlor stated dryly that the ambassador was unaware of this. The Council had mandated that humanity be immediately subjugated by an adaptable species with this exact adaptability. The human delegation shows up. The risk of aggressive expansion tendencies to hegemony dominance is too high. I'll go over the treaty one last time before the humans arrive, Krendel replied. After the ambassador departed Vexlor, we wanted everything to be flawless for the ceremony. Triggered the holographic picture of Supreme via his private communication line. Commander, Overlord Zixtar appeared in front of him, and his voice was raspy. Report that everything is going as planned. which is the highest human plan, agreed to our offer and is scheduled to attend the signing ceremony. But Ambassador Krendel is still unaware of our actual plans, as well as the invading fleet waiting for my signal. We will strike by tomorrow as soon as the deal is signed and the codes to access Earth's defense grid are sent. We shall rule over. The human home world and its colonies will be cut off and exposed to the Supreme. The Council becomes more worried about these human reports, while the Overlord's enormous head bobs in approval, show that they have created technology that ought to be beyond their reach, as demonstrated by our most recent cycle. Energy signatures compatible with experimental phase-shifting technologies were found by reconnaissance drones. Phase shifting is theoretical even for exoskeletons that are stiffened, which makes it impossible. Humanity must be contained, but our scientists cannot take any chances. Prior to moving forward, carry out the plan without fail. Commander of the future Vexor was left alone when the contact terminated because hegemony dominance relied on it. Considering his ideas, if humanity had somehow created phase-shifting technology, maybe they much greater vigilance than he had been using, regardless of how quickly their society would be destroyed. 3 hours after the enslaved people's problematic progress was permanently stopped, Vexlor stood. As the human starship approached the docking bay, 2 screens in the lavishly furnished diplomatic chamber displayed the elegant silver ship moving. With surprisingly accurate maneuvers for a purportedly archaic several galactic languages were used by the species presenting the earthly diplomatic mission to announce the ship's AI. When the doors opened, 5 people wearing formal clothing entered, leading despite being tall and dark-skinned with close-cropped white hair. She exuded confidence in her posture. Diana Reeves, her envoy, introduced herself with a little bow while surrounded by aliens that were taller than her. Vexor, speaking on behalf of the United Earth Administration, made the customary welcoming motion by pressing Commander Vexlord Tornik of the Galactic Hegemony is his main clause. The words, "We welcome you in peace," almost made him giggle. These people had no peace. Ambassador Krenly walked forward, grinning with real excitement, knowing what was in store for them. Ambassador Reeves, it's a joy and a privilege to finally meet in person after our several communications. This is a very significant moment. Ambassador Krenly, the presentation of the peace treaty. With ease, Reeves responded, "Humanity has anticipated official connections with the Hegemony for." As the diplomatic chit-chat went on for many years, Vexlor researched the other human. Beings standing next to Reeves included a man with big shoulders, facial hair, and, according to the briefing materials, Admiral Jackson Parker had piercing blue eyes and was Earth's top military. 2 political aides followed the delegate, including a scrawny, anxious-looking man named Thomas Whitfield, and the 5th human, a calm woman named Lakshmi Patel, where Vexlor noticed something about Fleming, who was introduced as Dr. Marcus Fleming, a scientific advisor. While the others conversed, the scientist's eyes flew about the room, absorbing details with odd. How much did he admire the cutting-edge technology while looking for weapons? In any event, Vexlor mentally noted that we should keep a close eye on him. Ambassador Krendel advised us to head to the treaty room, where the document is waiting for us once refreshments have been provided. Signatures to start a new phase of collaboration by any means necessary, Reeves concurred. A huge table made of rare minerals that represented the hegemony's wealth and power was displayed in the treaty room. The actual peace pact was shown as a holographic sheet that hung over the center of the table with words scrolling in. Before we start, Reeves stated both English and Galactic Standard Admiral Parker went forward with a ceremonial gift from Earth. Commander Tornik, Ambassador Krenol, with an elaborate wooden box in hand, the citizens of a little blue sphere around the size of a human, was placed inside the box as a sign of Earth's dedication to peace. First, this includes air, soil from our continents, and water from Earth's oceans. Parker clarified that these components symbolize life in our society based on our atmosphere. We present them as a representation of the fresh energy we intend to infuse into the relationships between our peoples. Most considerate of the hegemony, he accepted the present with a pretended sense of reverence. Ambassador Crenlay seems truly moved by this symbolic gesture, which is greatly appreciated. Quite lovely. And I'll make sure it's shown off in the galactic Dr. Fleming of the Hall of Diplomacy mentioned that the sphere also has a data crystal with Earth-related cultural information, including our music, literature, art, and scientific accomplishments. We hope it sheds light on our species' identity. Kindle added, I find it fascinating. Vexlore nodded courteously, but she was secretly excited to explore it. The hegemony would eventually have access to everything on Earth, they sneered, would rob its resources, imprison its citizens, and take away all of its valuable knowledge before turning its cities into ash. Now replied, pointing to the pact, should we go ahead and make history as the human trap has been set off?